Armageddon. A science fiction, Christian illusion. The word Armageddon, with the probably Hebrew meaning, Hill of Megiddo, is mentioned in the Bible only once, in the so-called New Testament's last book known as Revelation. The word can be found in chapter 16 verse 16. New King James Version, and they gathered them together to the place called in Hebrew, Armageddon. The term Armageddon has often been used by religious organizations to refer to an impending cataclysmic struggle between the forces of good and evil. It has also been used figuratively, often by peace activists and some world leaders, to describe a possible nuclear world war. The term is also used in a generic sense to refer to any end-of-the-world scenario. In the 21st century, modern technology has permitted humans to enjoy movies in theaters that project films in 3D and panoramic views with high-definition sound systems. Something unconceivable in the first centuries of our common era and, of course, before that. Nevertheless, the creative minds of humans in ancient times also offered the thrills of invented fiction for the delight of individuals looking for all the excitement available at the time. No movie theaters then, but very well-written novels, stories and myths conceived to impress a gullible audience very susceptible, easily deceived and thirsty for new things and futuristic powerful predictions from the gods and their representatives. Just like today. The Bible is a book filled with those type of futuristic nonsense predictions that people, in the past and in the present, have allowed themselves to be impressed, manipulated and dominated by it. Religions today, as in the past, have used and continue to use these stories and myths to control and exploit. The main tool used by all these organizations is fear. Armageddon is one of the main armaments used by many religions today to continue to control and exploit humans. It is part of Christianity's eschatology. It includes groups like the Jehovah's Witnesses, Seventh-day Adventist, Evangelicals, Pentecostals, Baptists, Christadelphians, and Baha'i Faith, among others. For all these religions, Armageddon marks the great climax of history. But after all the failed predictions, some of these religious groups, in particular the Jehovah's Witnesses, are presently encouraging their members to stop focusing on Armageddon and to concentrate in continuing serving as slaves for their leaders. Other religions might implement other tactics. Today, what religious people don't dare to understand, because of fear, is the origins of plays and dramas, stories, and traditional tales of the past. The majority of scholars agree that the foundation of all the end-of-the-world doctrines and predictions is the Jewish apocalyptic movement. This movement was initiated by the Jews that returned from Babylon after their captivity. Under the influences of the Babylonian and Persian religions, the Jewish elite, sages and scribes, started to create a utopian vision for the future of their nation under the so-called Kingdom of God. They needed a remodeling of their God, a God that has failed them in many occasions. They needed a God more powerful than the previous one. By using complicated manipulations, they succeeded in the recreation of their God. Now their hope of complete vindication could be achieved under the new masquerade God. So powerful was the transformation that the hope could persist even after the killing of the major apocalyptic prophets in the first century like John the Baptist, Jesus and others. The hope even persisted after the destruction of the Jewish temple in 70 CE. Now, under the barbaric Roman domination, the Christian movement with a resurrected king seemed to be the only hope for the utopian Jewish promises to become a false reality. In that atmosphere of utopian expectations, someone skillfully produced the now famous book of Revelation. The book, although surrendered by many disagreements, was finally added to the canon of the NT. Today we still have it. It is masterly used to continue to deceive the masses. The world was and is soon to come to a rather climactic end. The wrath of God toward the earth bringing worldwide devastation is Armageddon. Even one Bible scholar has proposed that the book of Revelation existed before among the abundant Jewish apocalyptic eschatology writings such as reflected in the Dead Sea Scrolls texts. It has been proposed that the author of Revelation took the pre-existing Jewish writing and added all the Christian parts in existence today. Conclusion. With all respect to the human right of freedom to choose, it is sad, nevertheless, to see millions of parishioners' minds controlled and fooled by false dogmas. The Armageddon of the Bible never happened and will never happen. Planet Earth will continue to suffer many calamities created by the terrible management of the planet by humans and by the effects of nature. However, Armageddon will continue to be used, along with the rest of the false religious predictions, to continue imposing fear, controlling the minds and thus exploiting and enslaving anyone who is deceived by them.